Hello everyone, welcome to today's video lesson all about food webs. Please take out your books and make notes as we go along. Also try to do the activities with me when we get to them. Our learning goal is I can use models to show how energy moves through food webs in the ecosystem. Let's begin. So before we learn about the food webs, let's go back to something we already know, food change. So food chains are shown how energy moves in a line. One animal eats another, then another, and so on. For example, a shrub or grass gets energy from the sun, then a rabbit eats the shrub, then the lion eats the rabbit, and it will go on and on and on and on. But wait, what if many animals live in the same place? Can they all be part of just one food chain? No, that's where food webs come in. Let's take a look. Food webs is a big picture. It shows how many food chains are connected. In nature, animals and plants don't live alone. A deer might eat the same shrubs as a rabbit, and a lion might eat both. So the lion will maybe eat the rabbit and the deer. So a food web helps us understand how all of these animals are linked in the same habitat. So food chains are one path. As we can see here, it's just one path. And food webs are many paths joined together. Think of a spider, it's a web. All the webs come together till the center of the web. Exactly the same here. So let's talk about the tropic after the tropic levels, the level in the food web. So producers make their own food. They are plants and trees. How do they make their own food? Through photosynthesis. The primary consumer eats the plants. They are usually herbivores, animals that only eat plants, plant eaters. Secondary consumers eat the primary consumers, so they eat plants and animals. And then territory consumers, they eat the secondary ones, and then the apex predators, they are at the very top. No one eats them except maybe humans. Energy flows from the bottom to the top, but the higher up you go, the less energy it is. So basically, producers has the most energy, and then, for instance, the secondary consumers have lesser energy. So let's build a food web together. We always start at the bottom of the producers. They are the base. Then we add the consumers who eat the producers. Then higher levels, the consumers, and then finally the top, the predator. So consumer C will always be a predator. So the pyramid goes like this: producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, territory consumer, and then apex consumer. Let's try a quick activity together. Look at the food web: the grass, the mouse, the grasshopper, the tree, the birds, the eagle, and snake. Now answer the following questions. Can you name one producer? Can you name one herbivore? How many secondary consumers can you find? And then, are there any territory consumers? Write all your answers in your book. Please pause the video now, as for the next slide is all the answers, and I first want you to try all these questions on your own. So name a producer, name a herbivore, how many secondary consumers are there any territory consumers? So pause the video, and then if you play again, it will be on the next slide. So let's quickly look at our answers. Please mark. Name a producer. So grass or trees will be one of these answers. So if you said lemon tree or grass or plants or anything like that, that's fine. Producers make their own food using sunlight. And what do you call that process? Who can tell me? Photosynthesis. Okay, name a herbivore. That would be a mouse or a grasshopper. Herbivores eat only plants. So it can also be an omnivore, but in this case it will be a herbivore, and herbivores only eat plants. How many secondary consumers are there? This is question 3. There are 2. Birds eat grasshoppers or mouse, and then the snake, it eats the mouse or the bird. So secondary consumers eat primary consumers, and our primary consumers are our mouse and our grasshopper because the arrows show directly to them. Okay, are there any territory consumers? Yes, the eagle. The eagle eats the bird or the snake. Both are secondary consumers. So, if you got all these questions correct, well done. And remember to fix your answer if you got something wrong. Okay, animals need each other to survive. But what happens when humans cut down trees or build too much? Some animals, unfortunately, lose their homes. Some plants are gone. This can cause a big change in the whole food web. If one animal disappears, it can affect all the others. So even if a plant disappears or the animal disappears, it doesn't matter what, the whole food web will change. If one, let's look at what can happen. So food webs are like puzzles. If you take out one piece, the picture changes. Every small change, like fewer plants, can affect every animal. Fewer plants, fewer water, fewer but water is not part of the food web yet. But fewer plants and other animals. If you take one thing out, everything changes. That's why we must take care of our ecosystem to ensure that all the animals and plants stay how they are. Now think about this. What if there was no grass, no trees, and no plants? That would be a big problem. The producers are the start of the food web. So if those aren't there, that would be a problem. If there are no plants, the animals that eat plants will have nothing to eat. Then the animals that eat those animals will also be hungry, and so on. So everyone, all the animals will start to starve because there's nothing to eat. So the food web could fall apart and everything can die. Without producers, the whole food web would collapse. No food, no energy, and no animals left. Producers are small but very, very important. What is a producer? It is plants. It's always plants. It can't be not plants. It can't be an animal, and it can't not be an plant. It's always plants or trees, anything that goes through photosynthesis, making their own food through the sun. So let's imagine something else. What if the primary consumer, like the mouse or the grasshopper, were gone? If there are no mice or grasshoppers, the snake has nothing to eat because it usually eats the mice. And the eagle will also struggle because it eats the snake or the bird, and the bird eats the grasshopper. Even one missing level in the web can cause big problems. The mouse and the grasshopper are very important because they eat the plants and then get eaten by other animals like the snake and the bird. So what will happen? The whole food web gets messed up. Animals that depend on the mouse, like the grasshopper, will go hungry and can starve to death. And some animals may even die out, and that would change the whole ecosystem. So now the mouse will die because of starvation. Oh no, the mouse isn't there, but the bird will die of starvation, and the snake will also then can maybe um die from starvation because there's no more birds or mice for him to eat. So why is this a big problem? Because in nature everything is connected. When one animal disappears, it's like taking out a puzzle piece. The picture doesn't work anymore as I said before. Let's sum it all up. A food chain is a simple line. A food web is many food chains connected together. So food chain, it's just one chain, one line, one food web, one food chain. A food web is plenty of food chains together. A food web is many food chains that are connected together. You need to know the difference between the two. Producers are the base. Consumers eat other organisms. Energy moves from the bottom to the top. Changes in the food web, like animals go missing, can cause the whole web to collapse and animals die and can um, get extinct. That's why food webs are so important. Thank you so much for learning with me today. Please make sure to write down your notes and remember to watch the video on Google Classroom if you want to more help or just want to understand it more of the other videos. Remember, please, to make all these notes, except especially the summary, the previous slide. Make sure you have all these notes in your book, especially. The others I also want you, but this one is the most important. I'm always here to help you. Good luck with your work. I'm so proud of you for working so hard. Thank you, guys. Bye.